Hey everyone, my name's Elise, welcome back to another video. Today we got another Dono review, and today we are playing the Mermail deck. So, just before we get into the deck list, if any of you have not watched this series yet, the series is, my viewers donate to make me play a deck of their choice at Remote Duel Locals. And today, one of the stream viewers, Topaz, decided to donate for us to play the Mermail deck today because it's one of his nostalgia points, which, you know, Mermail is definitely a nostalgia point for a lot of people, and I understand why people, you know, look back on this deck. We didn't do as well as we would have liked in this local. We went 2 and 3. Our first 2 losses were just really unfortunate because playing against a bird deck, and then like DD Crow is just really good against against this deck, obviously. So, you know, having main deck DD Crow is nice, and then like the Feather Storm, the one that stops me from using like any and all monster effects. Like, I don't know. I played through it as best as I could with like everything he had, and it's just unfortunate. Then Salad had Droplet twice, and then top deck Will. Like, I don't know. And I played against Drytron. That deck just outpaces this though, and I can slow it down. But okay, so the main problem I had with this deck is having secure and good follow-up, because like you had potential follow-up, but the thing is this deck loses steam really quick outside of turn 1, and it's really difficult to get to the point where like you're in a grind situation. And I know there's a lot of ways to prevent the grind situation, but like sometimes there isn't, and it's just, I don't know, it gets really iffy. And I might not have played the most optimal list just because like I was trying to look around for stuff, and I kind of went with a little bit more toolboxy sort of list. I know there are ways to play calamities and whatnot. I just wanted to play the deck that might have had the least chances of bricking and whatnot, so that's kind of what I decided to go with. It was kind of my own thing, my own design, as being a person who hasn't really played Mermail as much, but overall I was still really happy with how the deck felt and like went, and I don't think there was anything major I would have changed. It was just, it unfortunately happens, and this deck is just like, it doesn't have the recursion it needs to exist currently, but it's still a nice fun option, and it exists. So anyways, let's just get into the deck list. So play 3 Neptibus, 3 Dragoon, and 1 Infantry for the Atlantean lineup. So like, there is potentially one point where recursion could have been a little bit more. It's because there are some times where I saw like maybe a Dragoonin deck, but I didn't have any other targets after my first turn, so maybe if I played like a second infantry or a marksman, it would have been a little better. But the thing is, I was still trying to like make my deck as consistent as possible, so cutting those cards was necessary to do so, and it was still fine, but like it cut my grindability down. And I think with how the deck needs to be played, it's hard to justify as many Atlanteans because you need to mix hand traps in as well. So I don't know, there's probably a way to fix this later on, but this is what I played at least for now. And for the Deep Sea cards, 3 Diva and 3 Minstrel. I don't know, Minstrel, it's really cool in theory, but it was actually one of the least impactful cards because a lot of the time, I don't know, I think I just got unlucky, but like most of the time they either had like double of a hand trap I was trying to hit, or their hand was just literally non-existent, so this could have just been more used for something else. But like, you know, I can't obviously know that before I do it, and it was just unfortunate. But yeah, and then Diva's obviously the best card in the deck. Then played 3 Teus and 1 Megalo. Honestly, if I opened Teus more, I probably would have done a bit better. Like, Teus would have fixed a lot of hands where I had like some difficulty, but you can't search Teus, so it's unfortunate. And 1 Megalo, because you can just search it, and like, it's really costly for what it does when like, so like one problem I have with Dragoons too is sometimes your Dragoon search was just not that impactful and just didn't like really provide heavy hitters to get to your like a good end board or good follow-up. So it just became iffy for what is currently necessary in the format. So like, I don't know. It circles back to Megalo, like, not having good enough stuff to discard, so it's not as impactful as you'd like it to be, but like you still need it. And then for the rest of the Mermails, 1 Pike and 1 Gund. The Pike because you need it for like comboing and stuff, because there's instances where you can like play around Toad if you just like normal summon this and go off from there. And then Gund, I don't know, Gund's really good. It just sucks when you have a really low Mermail count and you open the Gund and like you have to play really weirdly to like make it good, or I don't know. it's just weird. And then probably my favorite engine in the deck was a Swap Frog engine of 3 Swap Frog, 1 Ronin. This is probably the best thing in my deck, just because it gave me so much more extendability and versatility. Like, this was actually, like, I used it more for extension purposes than I did for, like, actually making Toad and whatnot. I don't know. These cards were, like, really came up a lot. And then Mool and Glacia, I didn't summon this card as much as I liked, because it was really hard to maintain the water count in Grave, and then, like, justify being able to summon it 2 without compromising your end board at all. So, it just became weird. And, yeah, I don't know. It's good, but, like, you need to play it still at the end of the day, but whatever. And then for the random tuners, the Lapis and the Fishborg, these cards are, you have to play them. They're kind of nuts in their own regard. Fishborg is insane. Lapis, you need to be able to combo it if you just open Neptibus. And then for hand trap lineup, 3 Ash, 3 Lancia, and 3 Nib. I was trying to play Gamma instead of the Lancia, but it was making it so I was running less hand traps overall, so I decided to main Lancia just because, like, it's a good hand trap just to main right now. If you're choosing between Droll and Lancia, I'd rather choose Lancia just because of how much more relevant the other deck is, the virtual deck is. So I'd rather just have Lancia, and then, like, I can always side into the other options later if necessary. And yeah, I think these are just the most impactful 9 hand traps overall for this deck. And that's it for the monsters. For the spells, 3 Deep Sea Aria, 1 1-for-1, and 1 Mizuchi, just because, like, this just seemed like it was going to be really good. It was subpar overall, but it wasn't bad. The Aria was, like, one of the best cards in the deck. I know a lot of people, like, don't like this card a lot, but I think it was, like, really good and came up a lot. The only other spell I can really think of that would have been really nice for my deck is maybe Reborn. Like, that would have actually come up a bit, but at the time of building the deck, I didn't think I had the room for it, and I think easily one of these 2 cards is cuttable. But the problem is, like, 1-for-1 is literally a starter, so it's hard to just justify cutting it. So maybe I could have cut this, but I don't know. It's hard to tell, but probably should have just cut this, honestly. But that's it for the main deck. The extra deck, the Linkuriboh, Halkafabrax, the Bujinki. This was actually a last-minute addition. I played this instead of the BLS Link. And it definitely, like, was really good, really impactful, and it just made it so the end board just got a lot better. And then, Lacia, Coral and Enemy, Unicorn, Appaloosa, and access code for all the links. I don't know, I wish there could have been more, but the thing is, I don't know what that more could have been. There's always a time where I wanted something else, but there was, like, okay, so actually, one of the changes I would have considered is maybe playing 2 Hulk. Just because there's a lot of time where I would need follow-up, and summoning another Hulk would have actually potentially done it for me. And instead, I had, like, less optimal plays to make, and that just didn't end up being good overall. But I don't know what I really would have taken out, because all these cards serve a purpose and are actually, like, relevant. So, I don't know. There's one Synchro I probably could have cut that I'll get into in a second, but those are those cards. And then XYZs play the Bahamut, Double Toad, Dweller, and Gaios. Gaios came up a lot in, like, doing test chans and stuff, but it just ended up not happening, like, in actual games. But I think Gaios is really cool. Then the rest of these cards are very standard, but, like, Gaios is probably cuttable, but, like, it's really good in theory, so I don't know. And the last cards in the deck are Synchros, which are Coral Dragon, and Dragite. So I'm not playing VFD. I'm not playing, like, the hand loop version, anything like that. Like I said, I wanted more toolboxy stuff, just as utility factor. So I wanted the best utility Synchros, and Coral Dragon just felt like it was going to be one of the best ones, instead of, like, Croc or something. Just because, like, you can Neptibus, get into this, because you just add Lapis and sink into this, and this could also help trigger your, water cards. And then just Dragite felt like it was just going to be, like, a nice card to potentially leave on board sometimes. But, like, this probably was cuttable for something else that I don't really know yet. But, I don't know. It was, like, the card I never summoned at all. And it could have easily just been something else, but I don't really know what yet. And Mermail players are probably going to yell at me for my list and say I did, like, a lot of stuff wrong, whatever. But, again, this is a list coming from someone who is not a Mermail player and was just trying to apply, like, decent enough logic and theory into it. And, you know, it was really short time frame and just, yeah, whatever. I don't know. But I think overall the deck list was actually fine, like realistically. But side deck is very standard. I build very standard side decks. I don't do anything that innovative, but 3 Droll, Gamma and Driver, and then 3 Droplet. I don't know, I think these are some of the best cards to play as like hand trap slots. There's nothing else I play with instead of Droplet, just because like if I'm playing something instead of Droplet, it needs to be something against Virtual World, and there's nothing else that I can think of that's good against Virtual World, so Droplet's fine for everything else. And then for back removal cards, Duster, Lightning Storm, and Reboot. You can potentially run Twin, but because it's not like the Mermail deck from before, your Twin Twister and discarding the random waters doesn't hold the same impact, so I'd rather just blow them out and then just like kill them. So yeah, that's how I feel about that. But anyways, that is it for this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Yeah, I don't know. The Mermail deck is just in such a weird place right now. It has a lot of cool resources, but I think it's just power creep is what's holding it back and just not having the same sort of resources everything else has right now. So it's just unfortunate, but it's still really cool. It's still fun to mess around with. And there's like 4 different versions of this deck. So like, if you don't like my version, there's like a bunch of different decks. A bunch of different people know the deck better than me. They're going to play cooler versions. I was just trying to minimize bricks and have more utility factor. So I don't know if it was right or wrong. And yeah, my results are just what it is, but otherwise, yeah, that'll be it for this one. And if you haven't checked out the Twitch stream yet, go down below, the link is there. Please give me a follow. You get to see this stuff happen live, see me playing the remote duels live, see me actually play the decks. And like Arcanine said, you can also donate to come make me play a deck of your choice as well. So yeah, make sure you check out the Twitch stream. Make sure you check out all the sponsors, Midwest Gaming, TGG Gaming, and YGO Daily. Use code MWG5 for 5% off. And that's going to be about it for today. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe on the video. And I hope you guys enjoyed. And we will see you guys next time. Bye!